Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Fiddleheads was a big part of my life. It was my first job, and I don't know, it's really made an impact on my future career choices. So absolutely, I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I'm glad. So tell me a little bit about what's going on in your life today. What's all new with you?
Sure. I actually work for Fox 6 News now. I am a digital sales coordinator, so I'm on the sales team, and I launch and run all of the digital advertisements for Fox 6. So specifically during the Packer games, if you see a local ad on there, I help run that on their website, all the advertisements, and then select social media posts as well.
How old do you think you were when you were working at Fiddleheads, or maybe what year was that?
I had to think about this morning and backtrack a little bit. So I had just turned 16 when I started at Fiddlehead. So that was 2008. I didn't even have a car yet. I used to get dropped off at the original location, which is where I was hired, by the school bus. Literally, as it was passing through downtown Thiensville, it would just drop me off. And everyone thought it was so cute. Like Steve and Lynn would be like pressed up against the windows, like waiting for me to get dropped off. So that was always kind of a running joke slash, cute thing about when I was there. And I worked there up until I was 24, which was 2016. So just about 8 full years. I was given a lot of opportunities while I was there. So luckily it kept me interested, and, I didn't get bored at all. I originally started in the original cafe, and then they started having me fill in at the other cafes. I believe first in Cedarburg, and then once we opened Mack, I would help out there as well. And then I opened the day the Bayshore store opened. So I helped open that as well. And then after that, I also was an intern up in the corporate office for a bit. I worked in the roastery as well. And I was just kind of all over the place. I felt like I was kind of the fill-in whenever they needed someone. I would help train as well. So I was able to gain just so many different insights of the company and see how each store had their own flavor, had their own regulars, and how we would also share regulars. And it always kept me interested, and everyone was such a family there. That's definitely one of my favorite parts about working for Fiddleheads, and why I stayed so long is because no matter where I worked, it always felt like a family. And that was my favorite part about working there, definitely.
You mentioned working in the roastery as well as a little bit at corporate and an internship. What did that look like for you?
It really varied. I would probably work upstairs for my internship because my degree was marketing. So I would do a lot of market research. I would do a lot of administrative duties, like entering like the bread reports and lots of stuff for all the different grocery stores we would deliver to at the time. I also helped with different advertisements in the stores and stuff like that. So there were lots of different things I got to do, which was really cool to see as an intern. And then working at the roastery was so fun. I mean, it just has its own vibe compared to the other actual cafes. And it still had its own regulars that would come in every day, and being able to, smell the coffee being roasted right next to you every morning, and, getting to work with Steve again, because I was, I believe, one of the very last employees to get trained actually by Lynn and Steve. So they were my first bosses. And so it was nice to be able to get back into the groove of things and kind of be able to work next to Steve again, even though we were kind of in our own zones. And working in the bakery, working with the bakery team, and just seeing how hard they work and how much work goes into everything was definitely eye-opening. And, getting to see Ray and Yovana and everyone else that worked at corporate every day, that was always really fun.
That's really interesting too, that you got that little bit of a tidbit of an introduction to what you're doing now, with your job currently. That's really cool.
I live in Excel grids now, and it definitely prepared me for that. And entering a lot of, digital orders is totally what I do now, and always been a part of, all the different jobs I've had since then, which haven't been a lot, but it definitely helped prepare me for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was the path that you took right when you left Fiddleheads?
Yeah, so after Fiddleheads, I had always wanted to get into the travel industry. I have family that's from out of the country. Traveling has always been a huge passion of mine. Coffee is basically at the same level, though. I've always loved coffee. And so I left to go to, at the time, the Mack Travel Corporation to work in customer care. And it was basically just booking all these awesome vacations with both consumers and travel agents. And from there, I worked my way up to being on the marketing team as well. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we took a hard hit last year, and they let a quite large amount of the marketing team go, my job included. But I ended up here at Fox 6, and life always works out.
What do you think you enjoy most about your life today?
I mean, that Fiddleheads has helped impact. I would definitely say how big of a passion it made me still have for coffee to this day. I mean, and just the people I got to work with and my regulars, and which it's, now at my house, I have my drip coffee station, an espresso bar station. I have a milk steamer, and I still make lattes and latte art all the time. And I'll still send pictures to my old coworkers from 6, 7, 8 years ago. And we all respond. We're like, oh, like Fiddleheads fam for life. Like, we're all still on such great terms. And we all just got to bond over our love for coffee, our love for the company. And it's just great how we all just are still on such great terms and still share the same passion.
That's so wonderful to hear too. And I know a few of the other girls mentioned too, they've had that group chat and chatting about their memories and having those really cool reflections. So that's really nice to hear that you still have everybody kind of in your heart. That's really cool.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's, when you have a passion for coffee, it never leaves you. And I've been drinking coffee since I was probably 7 or 8. So I've always loved it. It was the best first job. It taught you discipline, to be able to get up so early, to be able to, to open up the shop. It taught me just being able to socialize and meet people and get out of your shell. And, but it was also really relaxed and fun, and just such a great environment for a first job to an end job. It was wonderful.
Yeah. And Fiddleheads aside too, what do you enjoy most about your personal life today?
I recently did get married. So that was, being able to get through that first year of marriage during the pandemic. But honestly, my favorite part about my life today, is definitely having a solid career, having a healthy marriage, being able to get through 2020 and look forward to the next year, and my pets, and just the small things in life definitely keep me going every day.
Well, congrats on that marriage. That's wonderful to hear.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I actually became kind of obsessed with golden retrievers because Ray had a golden retriever named Murphy, and he would bring him into the cafe all the time. And that's the main dog I want. And I definitely think Murphy is the reason why. He was a great dog.
What do you think was your favorite part or the most memorable part to you about working for a company that was so family oriented?
I think it was just how, if you were having a rough day, and everyone would just look out for each other. And, if something was going on in your personal life, everyone was just understanding, and it wasn't just, a family owned business. It really felt like the people that owned the company brought us all into their family. When I left, everyone was like, best of luck. There was no hard feelings, and just, it was that warmth and care. And not just about the product, but about the people as well, and about our regulars. Our regulars help make the company what it is and their business, and how the second we'd see them pull up, we're like, up, get their mocha ready, up, grab their coffee. Like, you know, we were trained to make sure that not only is every customer important, but, you know, to make sure that the ones that do constantly come in, we're given that importance as well. And it just, especially being, you know, one of the last people that Lynn and Steve trained, they really taught me the meaning of working hard, paying attention to the little details, going above and beyond. And it was such an experience just to be able to work directly with, you know, two of the owners of the company when I first started, and kind of the expectations with that, as well as, you know, just how to really do it when it comes from the head honchos, you know? So I think that was that always, like, being trained by them always stuck out in my head. And, you know, the crazy festivals we would work and how insane it would be. And we'd all get our rhythm going and just keep each other motivated. It was just, overall, it was just so lighthearted, and we'd all be there for each other. And it was just something I'll never forget.
Are there any specific memories of the management team that come to mind that you'd like to share?
Oh my gosh, yeah, Kayla, she was my first manager. And I mean, I saw her like a big sister, and she just taught me so much, and we got so close, and we just really, I don't know, she really taught me a lot of things. So she definitely sticks out. I love Ashley. Her and I were always really good friends and got along. I really liked Taylor and AJ, and Hannah was such a sweetheart too. Just so many people stick out that, you know, not only did their job, but made the job fun. And, you know, how we all just were able to work hard together, but get along and have fun at the same time.
And do you have any memories of Mike or Ray or Lorene?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember when Lorene would come in or to the original location before the addition was done. And she would, you know, do gardening all around, like during the summertime, to make it look so nice. And every time Ray would come in and have his business meetings, you know, we knew what he would drink, we would get his drink going. And Ray was just always so wonderful and he always taught me, he's the one that taught me to treat the janitor as good as the CEO. Everyone is the same, and to treat everyone equally. And that always stuck out in my head and really has influenced how I work every single day. And Mike with his dad jokes and just like, you know, coming in, making sure everything was running smoothly. Just, I don't know. I've never had such a great upper management that just, I don't know, was so friendly and down to earth and treated everyone so great.
And I know you were mentioning a little earlier about Lynn and Steve, and, you know, they were the last, or you were the last kind of to get trained by them. And
one of the last, yeah.
One of the last. And so I know you mentioned that you worked by Steve, even though you were doing your own thing, you were still kind of in the same room. Do you have any stories from then?
Yeah, I mean, it was so different working the cafe with him versus with him getting in the groove, roasting coffee and all of that. And it was so cool to see him take the passion of roasting coffee. And so being able to see that passion really come out and see him like working hard, getting in his groove, it was such a nice change versus just, you know, him running the cafe, how I first got to know him. And, you know, he gets in his own groove, does his own thing, but he's great at it. And I could tell it was just so cool to see him enjoy a different passion than what I first saw.
Yeah. And your first cafe was Thiensville. What was your favorite part of working there?
Our regulars were just like my heart and soul. I loved all of them so much. And, you know, there's always going to be that love for when you hop around at different cafes, there's always going to be that very first one. And it was my first job. So I loved the old building. I loved the patio in the summer and even in the winter, because the building faced the east. So you'd see the sun come up, behind the trees. And when there was freshly fallen snow, it would kind of it would just glimmer everywhere. And it was, I don't know, it was definitely the building itself, everyone that worked there, but definitely the regulars. There was these group of older guys that would come in every morning, and maybe they still do, like Mocha Ken and Chip and so many, all of them, but they just treated us like family, and they were our family. And it just, I don't know, warms my heart thinking about it.
Yep. So Ken and Chip and John and
John. Yep.
I'm trying to remember now. Bob, Mocha Bob. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So those were my first regulars working there. So it's really cool to hear that, that part of your family is still there and still having their morning coffees and hanging out and
I shouldn't worry about them, but I do. I want I need to go visit them and have a chat with them and see how they're doing. And I mean, we would get if we hadn't seen them for a few days, we'd be like, where? Or they'd come in a few days later. We're like, where were you? We were worried about you. And they're like, oh, we were on vacation. I'm like, these are things you need to tell us. And just, and I really loved the craziness of Fun Before the 4th and just how nuts it gets and all the different festivals and how it's just, I work my best in chaos, I would say. So I think that's why during those crazy times, I really enjoyed it the most. Just because, and I ended up bartending as well, which is pretty similar, but later on in college, but I loved from the slowness to the craziness. It has a different vibe for everything, and definitely has a special place in my heart. I need to make my way over there. I live in Shorewood, so I would go to the Bayshore one pretty frequently up until, that location shut down, but there's one coming to Shorewood, right? Beautiful. Great. Yeah, I'm very excited for that too. And I just Fiddleheads has grown so much since I left. And I just need to make an Ozaukee County run and go just see all the different locations and see what's changed, because so much since I've left, every time I go into one, something's different, and which is exciting to see, definitely.
Is there anything specifically that has stayed with you in your life today?
Some of the major things, like I said, that have stuck with me since my time at Fiddleheads is, kind of what Ray taught me, which is to treat the janitor as good as the CEO, to treat everyone equally, that where you work, should challenge you, but also be fun, and you should enjoy your time there. And, a job, you spend almost more time with your work family than you do with your own. And I loved how carefully they selected who they work with. It's led me to be careful where I work and, to treat everyone well and to work hard together. And just that, you don't need to be blood to be a family. And Fiddleheads was definitely a family, Fiddle fam, as we would say. And just how lucky I am to have had such a great first job and to have been able to grow so much inside of the company, as well as, internally myself, and just to work hard and to love what you do.
Do you remember what your team was like while you were at Fiddleheads?
I mean, it was because I had so many different teams, working in all the different cafes, but it kept me on my toes. And for a long stretch, I was, for probably near the middle of my time there, I was mainly at the Mack store, and then Bayshore more near the end. But that Mack store, all of us girls were just in a rhythm. I know Jackie would open on Tuesdays, I'd come in at 7 and someone else at 9, and we just knew our spots and we were in our grooves. And we all just worked so well together, and, we all communicated so well. And, it wasn't just a do your job and get out. We would hang out together. And, at the original Thiensville store too, I loved my team there. And again, we all just were in our grooves, worked well together, worked hard together. And I loved Cedarburg too. Cedarburg has such a special place in my heart. It's such a cute cafe. Being a part of all the different teams, they all welcomed me, and, they were all so great to work with.
Are there any funny stories or memories that you can recall from any of your teams?
I completely wiped out. Oh, so when unless things have changed, but in Thiensville, there was always that big water jug when I was there, and we would have to fill it up in the summer, and like all the bikers would come in and drink all of it, and we'd have to fill it up. I think it was like the first year I was working there, I had just picked it up to bring it back, and there was some ice on the ground, and I slipped and it fell like all over me. And I can't remember who I was working with, but like it was like during the morning rush. And oh my gosh, that was top 5 most embarrassing moments in my life. I think I actually had to like go home and like get my life together and then come back. But just nothing besides that, nothing sticks out too much, just besides like laughing all the time and just having a good time and joking around, but being able to do that while working. And, if it was slow, we would always have fun, like doing the chores, or like back when we would, kind of custom make our own sandwiches, like we would make them for each other and try things out, and, just get adventurous and try different things. And maybe a lot of them would end up on the menu eventually. And I know one of the grilled cheese sandwiches, I'm pretty sure Ashley created and showed it to either Yovna or whatever, and it ended up on the menu. And it was really cool to kind of have that freedom to be adventurous and try new things, and who knows, like it could end up on the board eventually. So nothing besides the water jug incident, nothing specific sticks out that was like super crazy, but just enjoying every minute of it, which might be really boring, but I loved it.
That's so cool. And that's so nice to hear too, that you have so many different teams that you worked with so closely. And I'm sure that brings a lot of memories. I'm sure it's hard to have them all flood in all at once, but.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've been kind of trying to brainstorm and, think of so many moments, but it's hard when so many of them were so great, and there's just none that stick out that trump any besides that. So, yeah.
Overall, how would you sum up your feelings towards Fiddleheads?
I saw a lot of changes while I was there, and I think a lot of them were very, very good. And I think just seeing it start as when I started as 2 cafes, the amount of growth is just insane. And it makes me so happy to see all of that, mainly so that people that couldn't get to the other stores can try it now. And it can be that local coffee shop that I know our regulars and all of us that worked there loved so much. And to get, great product, great coffee, but experience that home feeling and friendliness. And I'm excited to see how much growth there will be. And I just, but with change, I just hope that feeling of hominess doesn't leave, because that's my favorite part about it. But I definitely, it's awesome to see it. And I mean, selfishly, I'm so excited that there's a Shorewood one coming, and hopefully there'll be more coming towards the Milwaukee area. Just because I've lived down here since I was 19. So, just for more access to really good coffee is never a bad thing. And I hope that with the changes, that love for coffee, the passion, the great products doesn't change, but it's great to see. And I'm really happy for the company. And 25 years is an incredible length of time for a small business and to have grown as much as it has. And I'm so happy for them.
Do you have any words of wisdom or advice or anything you'd like to mention to any of our current baristas?
Appreciate your regulars. If there's someone on your team that maybe isn't quite at your level, work with them, help them, be open, be honest, connect with people, and enjoy your time there, because you'll miss it when it's gone.
Enjoy those moments. I think that's perfectly said.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, there are moments where, I miss like driving and seeing the sun come up, or even finishing up opening the cafe and the sun's coming up, and it's just kind of like, you're the person that when the people come in, there's always those people that come and start knocking on the door before it's open. But once they do come in, I know how important getting my morning cup of coffee is, and it's what starts me off on a great day. And you get to be that person to start so many people off on the right foot every day. And I feel like your mind kind of changes when you think of it that way. Like, this isn't just a job. This is, what makes everyone's day sometimes. I know that the regulars appreciate it. If they're not a regular, they still do. And it's an important part to play in someone's life. So,
is there anyone in the Fiddleheads world that you'd like me to pass a hello on to?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Steve, of course, and Ray and Lorene and Yovana and Ashley and Mike, of course. Tell Mike I say hi. Give him a hug for me. And I still think about them all the time. I still make Fiddlehead sandwiches at home all the time and copycat soups. Steve, I need your African peanut stew recipe. Really want to give that a try. And I can't wait to see them, hopefully soon.
I'll absolutely pass those hellos on for you.
Everyone, the whole, I guess, Lynn, and her influence on me, and her and Steve, and, kind of her passion that started the whole company, and then it growing from there, was something I'll never forget. It's awesome to see that, like, her original passion for coffee and business, like, grew into this beautiful, beautiful company that has so many locations, and that passion can be shared with so many people. And it's just really cool to see. And I think she's really happy about it.
Well, thank you so much for telling me so much about you and your current life and all of your memories and the wonderful stories. I appreciate your time so much, Abby. Thank you.
Absolutely, Matt. Tell everyone I say hi, and Fiddleheads family forever. I hope that you're enjoying your time there, and I'll need to stop in and visit soon.
Yes, absolutely. Sounds good. Well, I hope to see you at the Shorewood location when it opens. I'm sure we'll run into each other.
First in line. I want to know when you guys are opening. All right. Bye.
Bye.